It's episode 321 of The Platformers, a show about games and nerd culture, and I'm your host, Brian Barnett.
I am the targiest Chris Cornelise.
And it's just the two of us this week. So,
Yep.
we're going to keep it...
Slow week
we're
or
gonna keep it
quiet week
brisk.
or... Yeah.
Well, and we've got some normal co-hosts, Lucas and also Will are working on some stuff, and so they're not able to make it. So we're just going to keep this nice and chill. And speaking of chill, check this out. I don't know if you can see, but my wife and I got a blender, and I made frozen margaritas. So
That's what that is. I was like, what is that? Is it like a berry smoothie or what? No, margaritas. You're going right for it.
I mean, yeah, it is a berry smoothie. It just also has tequila in it. Yeah.
The berriest.
Blueberries, bananas, strawberries, orange juice, pineapple juice.
And tequila.
And Montezuma tequila.
Beautiful.
Because I need to feel the revenge. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lot going
Sounds
on in
good.
the world. It's been a little
I
bit.
wouldn't know. I've been away for a bit, so
Yeah.
I've been relatively absent from most of it. Aside from, little bits and pieces of like drama from the Olympics. There's that.
Yeah. Yep.
Australia got breakdancing cancelled. You're welcome.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was very interesting.
Yeah. Again, I don't know the full story and the full circumstances. I haven't dug into it too bad, but I saw the performance and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. I also really liked the Lord of the Rings meme. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one.
The one Saruman said, so you have elected the way of pain. And then it was like Gandalf. And then it was just like.
The spinning Gandalf.
Yeah. It was so good. So good.
That's horrible.
There's a lot of good ones. Yeah. Or like me trying to scratch my cat's belly or something. And then it's just like flipping all over. It's really
I kind
good.
of feel bad because it's like that person is going to be mocked for the rest of her life. And it's like, but at the same time, like, the hell. Like,
I mean, the oh, excuse me. The funny thing about that is that is breakdancing. It's just not like what people were expecting.
yeah. Like, technically, yeah, but the judges awarded it no points, and may God have mercy on their soul. And
Did they really give them no points?
No point. Not a 1 out of 16.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yep. And then, yeah, like, I happened to see... Where was it? So, I was on a trip, obviously, for a few days. I'll go into that in a bit. But, like, we happened to just hear about it and then on the way back. And so we're all just sitting around at a McDonald's, just having breakfast on our road trip back. And just all crowded around the phone going, oh, no.
Yeah.
So...
Not good.
Oh, boy. Not good.
Not good. Funny. Very funny.
Funny.
Not good.
Sucks that it won't, like, breakdancing will not be continuing as a sport there, because, like, I think there's plenty of potential for it. Like,
oh, they literally just got rid of it entirely?
They did. I don't think it was as a direct result of her. I think because they constantly, shuffle in and out sports of the Olympics.
Wow.
But apparently it will not be going to the next one.
Wow.
Which feels like a shame.
Which means they're definitely going to get blamed.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's their fault or not, they are definitely going to get
Pretty
blamed.
much.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Congratulations. You broke dancing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. That's rough. I did
Wild
not know
stuff.
the entire story. That's pretty great.
And again, I'm like, like if you're hearing this and want to know, do your own research on it, because I do not know the full details or specifics about it. This is just, secondhand information.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well, that's it for this week. It's been a great show.
Yeah, we were just here to mock Australia. That's all.
Yep. I mean, my work is done. That's all I care about.
Yeah. I'm used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's
Good stuff.
Lots of Olympics nonsense stuff going on. But yeah, like the dude, I mean, the pole vaulting, like obviously, The guy who lost because his dick was too big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, has there ever really been a more relatable story of human suffering and all of the world?
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm not an expert pole vaulter, right?
Yeah.
It's like I kept trying, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is, can you imagine winning after that? And then people like kind of side-eyeing you?
You won, but at what cost?
But at what cost? At what cost? And in Olympics Village, they are going wild anyway. So then imagine, like, you may have got, because I think he's got the bronze still. Or something like that.
I think.
But, so like, you still placed, but like, man, can you imagine the late night rendezvous you're going to get invited to? Can you believe? Like, you're coming out of this a winner regardless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's great. I will say that is probably the best consolation prize I could think of.
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's a
you don't
great
top
story.
That. It's such a great story.
Yeah.
Like, and at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, how do you top that? It's like, I didn't win because I am too big.
Mm-hmm. I didn't win because I am blessed. Yeah.
I didn't win because I already won.
Yeah, I didn't win because I won at character select. Yeah.
Do your worst. I have already won.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, let's talk about.
For sure.
I mean, not that the Olympics are not nerdy, because you got to be.
I mean,
you got to be some kind of a nerd
games,
to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go down to the local pool and just swim like a maniac, or go on the pommel horse and then make stanky faces at the different the times around there. But yeah, let's talk about some games.
Let's talk about a game.
So since the last time I've been playing more Eastward, and I've been playing this for a while, this is something that I had on my wish list for a long time. And then my buddy and former guest host, Ronnie Barrier, bought this game for me as a congratulations on something. I can't remember what this was for.
Congratulations, you did the thing.
I wonder if it was when I got the full-time job at IGN. I wonder if it was that. God, that would have been absolutely ages ago, if so.
Well, Eastward is it's not a brand new game or anything.
No,
so
not
it's
at all.
probably been sitting on the backlog for a bit.
Yeah. It has. But yeah, I am loving it, and I'm shocked that more people did not mention this to me. It's fantastic. I love it. It came out in 2001 in September. It's by Pixpill, and Chucklefish published it, which Chucklefish, if they published it, like, it's good. That's me. Like, Chucklefish
2001. Couldn't 2021?
Oh, did I say 2001? Yes, it is 2021. Okay. Definitely. It is not 2001.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Chucklefish didn't exist in 2001.
No, they definitely did not. But yeah, it's great. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous. The music is fantastic. I love the gameplay. The story is interesting. Yeah, basically the premise is you play this guy named John, who is a miner. And he goes down and he lives underground along with everybody else that he knows. And he is mining, and he finds this machine that has this little girl in it. And he gets her out, and then she lives with him, and her name is Sam. And it's, they're kind of going about their business. They're going about their lives. And then something happens, and they are kind of pushed out of their comfort zone to go explore. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the greater world, including, I'm not going to say more. I will just say there is a fear about the surface world and about the things that happen to drive people underground.
Gotcha.
and it's about John and Sam figuring these things out, and then who Sam is, and kind of discovering her connection to everything.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's really good, super charming. You switch back and forth between the two characters. The game has a pretty good sense of humor. Not necessarily, it's not like that the game has jokes, but just like the game is in good spirits. You know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
like people are having fun. Stuff is serious, but it's also, it's not too serious, So there's a lot of really cool stuff. The sound effects are super crunchy in a way that I absolutely love. Like, a lot of it is kind of like 80s and 90s, like kind of tape deck aesthetic stuff, which I love.
That just makes me think of Cassette Beast now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really good. The art is great. Both in like the videos and in the gameplay. Boss fights are fun. It's very simple. Like, John basically has a frying pan, and then you can pick up like other weapons and stuff. Like, you can get a gun, you can get a flamethrower and stuff like that. And then Sam,
Is it RPG or house
yes,
play?
yeah.
Okay.
And I believe it's something like 20 plus hours, something like that.
I think that sounds about right from what I've heard.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's really interesting, and I'm shocked that I don't hear it mentioned more often when talking about like indie RPGs, because I think this is one of the best ones I've played.
I think
there aren't tons of indie RPGs, but you get stuff like Iconfell, and it's like that's really good. You get other things. We've got more stuff coming out, but yeah, you've got your big tentpole things like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. You've got smaller things that are still like very popular, like Persona, and then you've got your like small like indie RPGs, and this is as good as any of the other ones that I've played as far as like a complete package of what it's offering. So it's super fun. It's super fun. I love it. I'm definitely going to keep playing it until I get to the end.
So I think my understanding of it, like I haven't heard that many people talk about it, and you're right, it doesn't seem to come up that much. Those I know who did play it, and I have not played it myself. Those who did play it say it's okay. It didn't really stand out to them for whatever reason. But I also think this came out about the same time as OMORI did, and OMORI is like a beloved indie darling, so that probably doesn't help matters. But
yeah, it's interesting. Aesthetics go a really, 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 really long way for me. Like, if the art style and the animations and the music and the sound effects of a game are all like really good, that goes a long way for me. Like, it can. It's not just about the gameplay or the story or whatever, although I do think that there is enough of all of those things that works. Like, the gameplay is not necessarily novel, and there's a couple of like, there's a cooking thing that's really important. Like, you don't buy, I mean, I guess you can buy food at stores and you use food as your healing items, but you can also cook it, and you can figure out
makes
new
sense
recipes.
if you're using a frying pan.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing, is like, John is a tough guy and he's also a really good cook. Like, that's kind of the thing. So like, they'll be like, and the like side quests or like the different like elements of the story that you're going on, like, they're all real weird. It's like, oh, we got into this weird predicament where we went to a casino and this guy bet us that we couldn't make something that would make him flip out. It was so delicious. And Sam, of course, being the adorable little girl that she is like, oh, John can definitely do that. He's like the best cook in the world. And the guy's like, all right, bet. And then if you win, I'll give you this thing that you need. And if not, then I don't know. Sam like won the lottery or something, and he's like, well, I'll give you your winnings, but conditionally and only if you do this thing. And it's like, this kind of sucks, but then you spend all this time going around trying to find crazy ingredients, you know? And that just ends up being a bunch of other stuff. It's real silly. Like, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I don't know. It could just be a right place, right time thing for me, but I really like it a lot. And,
that's fair. I'll have to check it out if I ever find the goddamn time.
Also, being the father of a young girl, it definitely, like, a guy wandering around with, like, a little girl who is having fun and getting into stuff. Like, that also speaks to me, you know. That definitely doesn't hurt.
Oh, what's the other one? Because I mentioned OMORI as a comparison, but I think there's also Lisa. Lisa, that's the one. That's another one which people seem to compare it to. And I believe Lisa is like even more like obscure indie darling, but apparently those who love it, like love it. I have a friend who, is constantly trying to get me to play it.
I haven't played either of those other ones. That's very interesting.
Now, I've played a little bit of Amori, but I haven't got around to Lisa. Probably because like Lisa is apparently it gets quite depressing, and I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah.
So then again, so does Amori. But yeah, Amori is really interesting, and I think you'd like it.
Oh, I've definitely seen. Okay.
Yeah, the art style stands out. You would have seen it for sure.
I've seen the cover of this game for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Lisa the Painful?
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay.
It's what's it? Very Earthbound-esque.
Interesting. I've definitely seen people talk about this. I'll add these to my lists and see if I can check them out. But yeah, it's really good.
If you do hit them up, maybe that's incentive for me to finally, get off my ass and play more Amori.
Yeah, but it's good. Yeah, I recommend Eastward. I think it's good.
All right. Keep that in mind. Nice. Well, what have I been doing in the meantime? I'll touch on something real quick before we get into, the one we've both played.
Yep.
So, on a whim, and I missed out on the bulk of this because I was away again, but there was a playtest for a game called Mecha Break. Have you heard this one at all?
I have heard about this one. I believe Lucas was playing a bit of it.
Okay. I haven't spoken to him about that, so that'd be neat. I know for a fact Scott White was playing it. I saw him pop up on my Steam doing it, so there's that. But yeah, I only got maybe an hour and a bit yesterday, like last night, because I think the playtest is now over or about to be over, if it isn't, because it was only open for like a week. I think it comes out next year. But yeah, it is Mecha Break is a 6v6 hero shooter, effectively, but your heroes are mecha. They're Gundam. And yeah, that's the bulk of it. It's like, you know what you're getting into with 6v6, competitive shooters and such, but it seemed like the objectives were varied and interesting. The mechs themselves make for, more interesting characters because they're mecha. They have different gimmicks and such like that. You have repair. You have I dabbled with like a support one who shoots like basically nanobots that either do like healing over time or damage over time, depending on which mode you're in, as well as set up healing field. You have your basic ones who just go in with, guns and melee weapons and such. You have the really big heavy ones that just unload, stealthy snipers, all that such. It is exactly what you think, but it is mecha. And the mecha designs are pretty damn cool. And there's a decent amount of customization and such. You get like a little pilot avatar as well who you can customize, and then you can, whenever you kill somebody, you get like a brief snippet of, of you basically styling on them and such. And the same happens to you when you have to eject. You just see like a brief snapshot of, a pilot going, yeah. But yeah. So there's that aspect to it. It's I think it's going to be free to play. It is, I don't know who's making it. It feels Korean. It feels extremely Korean, just in terms of like looks and feel and such. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but some of the voice acting sounds AI generated, which is a big no-no in my book.
Yeah, no good.
I do not condone that, but however, it's like I heard it for a line or two, and I just can't confirm if it was that or just a really bad read. or like, given by a non-English speaker who's just like phoning it in. Don't know. Hope that's not the case because
Yeah, it would
I can't
suck.
condone that. But yeah, other than that, like the game itself was pretty good. Yeah, pretty good fun. I saw a few of my friends were playing it, and it's like, yeah, I'd probably play more of this if I had more of a chance to. But yeah, so that was Mecha Break.
Nice.
I will check it back out when the playtest goes back up, or if it goes into beta or whatever else, because I could use more. I haven't played many, co-op shooters or hero shooters in a while, and I suddenly felt the itch. Plus, everyone loves giant robots, right?
Pretty much everyone, yeah, except for the monsters that they fight.
Except for the kaiju, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I imagine they're not big fans.
Yeah, fuck Mecha, quote Godzilla.
So we talked about 2XKO last time, right?
Yeah, that was mentioned during the Evo episode,
Okay,
mostly by Will.
cool.
You didn't go too into it.
Okay, so the Alpha Lab is available now.
Okay.
So I've been playing a bit of that with some other people. So if you went to Evo, and you signed up for the Alpha Lab, you should have got access. I actually didn't, which is weird, but I knew somebody. Oh, actually, Khalif Adams gave me one of his keys. Because
Nice.
if you get in, then you get an extra like referral key that you can give somebody to be able to play with them, because it is a 2v2 game, and you can play it with one person, but you can also play it tagging between the two of you with like up to 4 people. You don't have to play it
That's
that way.
neat, yeah.
But yeah, it is a lot of fun. So I've been playing some of that. We played some long sessions and stuff. I believe there's only like 6 characters right now or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think they've shown off too many
No.
currently.
Yeah. So there's Ari, Echo, Braum, Darius,
Ilaoi.
Alawi, yeah, and then Yasuo. Yeah.
Right.
So I've played all of the characters at Evo, but since the Alpha Lab came out, I've been focused on Echo and Ari, and then a little bit of Yasuo because he's fun and he's got a giant sword and he's cool. So I've been playing through
And
that.
League of Legends players hate him.
Do they really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is like the go-to for people who, the sort who are just like, who think they're hot shit and, want to go in and solo a team or whatever, and then go in and just get like bodied 10 times, hurl abuse and then leave. That's the main character.
Gotcha.
Because there is high carry potential there and they mostly fuck it up.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he seems really cool. He seems kind of like Johnny from Guilty Gear. And from... Sorry, one of the guys in my band just messaged me something really funny. So I like it a lot. I think it's really interesting. One of the things that I think is fascinating is that within like the first 2 hours of the Alpha Lab being live, somebody was like, "Oh, Echo has like a touch of death combo in the corner," and so if you're doing he's going to be banned in any Alpha Lab tournaments. And it's just like, okay, well, that's like, it's very overstated, but also Alawi, who Will plays, has a round start overhead into a touch of death. So it's like, yeah, it's this, the game is nonsense. And it's totally ridiculous. And the mix-ups that you can do with
It's
Echoes,
an alpha playtest.
yeah, exactly. It's not supposed to be balanced. And also, there are many characters that are not in the game. But yeah, super ridiculous. I have had all kinds of bugs and issues with this version of the game, none of which I had at Evo. Now, I know that is, they're trying to have a bug-free experience at Evo for sure. But one thing I thought was really interesting was that, like, I was playing for a while and, like, my start button just stopped working. And my button inputs were just not right. And when you go in to try to change the button inputs, it's actually like a debug menu. It's very strange.
That's bizarre.
It's real rough, real weird. Also, I was doing combos, and as I was doing the combos and pressing different buttons, it was like switching my game from full screen to like windowed mode and then back again when I would get to that part of the combo. So there was like some debug combination of buttons that was just like totally, making everything all weird. Very strange, very strange. However, apart from that and like some issues of like trying to queue up on cabinets and stuff, it is fun. Like when you're actually playing, this is the classic, like the Dragon Ball thing where it used to be before it got rollback netcode and all that sort of stuff. It's like when you're playing the game, it's fun. It's really fun.
It's just, can you get to that point?
Yeah. And unfortunately, they do have cross-region play coming in the full version of the game, but you can't fight people in other regions in Alpha Lab right now, which is unfortunate because I have friends in Europe and, all over the place that I can't play with yet. But
I wouldn't be able to if I got in, so.
Yeah. So that stinks. But I think it has potential. I don't know that this is going to be like a big thing that I play a lot, just because like if I was going to play a tag game, like Dragon Ball FighterZ has rollback now, so like why wouldn't I just do that?
Yeah, it needs to offer enough of an experience that differs to not just overrule, or to not just be overruled rather by DBZ.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is 2v2, so it is a different experience based on
it. Is. Yeah, it is, and they do things differently. Like 2XKO is a crazier game than Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball is actually like fairly tame as far as tag fighters are concerned. Like it's crazy, but it's crazy in a way that's like parsable. That makes sense.
It's followable. The general strings of what you are doing are generally straightforward.
Yeah. And it's not, you're not going to have something where somebody like teleports 4 ways all around you and all that sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
Watching like top 4 in Marvel 2 is like, what is even happening? As somebody who hasn't played that game, like that game is really hard to follow. Sometimes you'll be looking at the screen and somebody is at the bottom of the screen below the camera and somebody's at the top of the screen above the camera. So you just can't see anything. And it's just like, wow, this is weird. Who decided this was a good idea? But yeah. Anyways, all that said, 2XKO is fun. The Alpha Lab goes on for a couple more days, and then it's going to be back to the waiting room. Everybody that I have played it with so far has had a really good time. And apart from one night where I basically found the game to be unplayable, like it's been fairly easy to get into. The menus are actually, Will was saying this, you can tell that this is going to be a really fantastic fighting game because the menus are the worst. Like the menus are absolutely terrible. Like everything about the game is awful except when you're playing the game, and that's how it's going to be a really good game because many
that's true.
Really great games just have just absolute butt cheeks of everything else. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, that's positive at least.
Yeah. Overall. It is fun. I've been spending a lot more time. Speaking of Dragon Ball FighterZ, I actually played for the first time in forever against Goggin, somebody who enters Golden Weekly tournaments and stuff like that. And I've also been spending, and that was great. That was great fun. It was the first time I've fought somebody at around my skill level in forever in that game. So that was a lot of fun. And I've also been hitting Guilty Gear in ranked mode lately, learning Leo Whitefang, and that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, having a good time. Fighting games are great. Find one that you love,
Leo,
and play them. We should play some Gear.
We should. I need to get everything reinstalled properly, and I keep feeling the Grand Blue itch because that's still like the most fun I had in a fighting game for a while. So
nice.
That's probably something I need to get back into. But yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, what else you got, my friend?
Shall we talk about Cataclismo?
Let's do it.
All right, so Cataclismo is a game which I believe you previewed for, I want to say IGN.
Yes.
You did a preview for it. It came out in early access, I want to say a week or two ago. I picked up the early access and have been dabbling in it. Not particularly much, just because, again, busy and such. But I have been picking it up and playing a few levels, and I am immediately intrigued by it. It is very cool, and I need to play more and see how it unfolds as it goes. But yeah, so what was your experience with it ultimately?
I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a really interesting wrinkle on the base building mechanic. I think the story has potential from what I played, and yeah, I like it a lot. I like that you have a lot of freedom. I like that you can make something and then break it down to build something else. I like that you can you're incentivized to make the most of what you have.
Yes.
And I like that. I like it, when it's like, okay, particularly in survival mode. I spent a lot of time in survival mode. And it starts off and there's 4 like open gates, around you. And I tried to do everything. I tried to like build like crummy little gates like on all 4 of them. And it's like, that is not going to fly. Like what you need to do is build a really robust gate at like one place and then store up your stuff and then build a robust gate at another place and then like make sure that in between you're like building stuff up. And
Yeah.
I don't love a lot of hay has been made about like, Call of Duty Zombies and, modes like that where it's like, oh, you're constantly trying to rebuild your defenses. I don't really care for that. I don't really like modes where you can't win. Like I like winning, and so I like
You like a clear end goal.
I like tackling a challenge, even a very difficult challenge, and then winning, and then being like, I did it.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be like, oh, how far can I get before I fail? That's like not as interesting to me. That's not as compelling to me, and I don't like the idea of constantly. Oh, I have to let me nail a wood board up over this thing, and then I got to spend resources to buy the wood, and it's just I don't like that. That's boring to me, and that's frustrating and tedious. And so this game is the first one where I've been like, okay, I like this though. This is interesting, and I think there's a lot, I talked earlier about Eastward aesthetics really vibing with me. Cataclismo aesthetics really vibe with me.
Yeah, they're very solid.
It's very atmospheric. It's very
low saturated colors, very moody,
Yeah. I like it a lot.
very stark, but it's very good.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that a lot of other, strategy and base building games, your StarCrafts and things like this, a lot of those games, they'll be hard, but there's so much of an emphasis on your moment-to-moment control. And that's called, so there's macro and micro in these games.
They rely on micro.
They rely on micro. Micro doesn't really interest me. I'm way more interested in like, what am I building towards? What are these other things? And the fact that Cataclismo is like, you don't want to deal with micro, you can just pause whenever and then just do your orders and then do that. And I'm like, excellent. I'm there with you. I love that shit. Cause that's what
you're planning, you're organizing, you're building up your defenses. It's
exactly.
more about the macro game.
It's about thinking instead of reflexes, and I would much rather do that. I'm much more interested in that. And that's why I like, games like, Baldur's Gate 2 or something, where it's like, all right, I'm going to pause the game.
Real time with pause, yeah.
I'm going to think about this for a second. I'm going to see what I want to do. And then, okay, I've got this idea. All right, let's see how this plays out. That's very interesting to me. I like that a lot. And Cataclismo takes the strategy base building thing and turns that, kind of in that direction in a way that I find very satisfying. So
yeah, it feels, what's the best equivalent? Like the most obvious equivalent I have for it is something like They Are Billions, which is RTS defensive builder thing where you just, the hordes keep coming and you keep building up your settlement and such in order to get resources, in order to build better things. You know the deal. It's that same deal. That or, Age of Empires. It has a very kind of build up your settlement, gather the resources and such, but then as opposed to going out and, conquering enemy bases, you're instead just consolidating on yours and building it up literally brick by brick in places. And it's an interesting combination, I feel. There's also, shout outs to the Stronghold series, which does similarly. But yeah, the way I feel like this has a pretty good balance of it so far between both like the exploring and finding resources, expanding your own, field of influence so you can go, oh yeah, there's a quarry over there. I'm going to plant a quarry over there, but then I got to defend that. So I got to extend my choke point here. Just there's a lot of little things like that. And I feel like it does a very good job of it, especially given just the amount of variety in how you build up is pretty robust.
Yeah.
Because again, everything is brick by brick, but then it's like, sure, you can do that, but then the higher your walls are stacked, the thicker they are, the more overall toughness they get. And you want them to be thicker so you can put more things on top, which include like buffs to specific unit types or flags which buff the damage things, as well as, like melons on the walls, so that increases their range. So it's like you build really impressive and varied defenses, and you can really like finagle it to get just right.
Yeah.
And all of that, if they break the wrong part, then you can leave your guys stranded up there. So it's like, well, shit, now what? And then they go a different place. You're like, well, I can't go and reinforce that because my guys are stranded up there. So lots and lots of back and forth. And yeah, I see a lot of potential in this. Yeah. I'm not far enough yet to really flex on it, though.
Yeah, that's a well observed point, which is like the freedom of building. So like, one of the great things about that is that not only gives you options, but it rewards you for clever planning and foresight.
Yes,
where it's like, okay, so I have ladders that go up, to this high ledge where my archers can post up and shoot people from farther away. But if that part of the structure gets destroyed, that ladder is gone. But if I have a ledge that goes around the whole perimeter, well, it's really easy for people to move around. And, one of the things that I found was I would have ladders leading to different sections. So I would have, like kind of switchbacking, ladders and staircases and things like this. Mm-hmm. And I would have them lead, like they would cross and go to different sections. So it was, because I had that same problem where it was like somebody destroyed this and it's like, all right, I'm going to build more robust like networks of ways to get around. So it was way harder for them to get stranded. And I was rewarded by not only having them be able to get from place to place faster to reinforce it more quickly so that I would lose, less durability on my structures, but also if something did go pear-shaped, it was very unlikely that I was going to be in a situation where I couldn't get out of it. And so, yeah, I love that it rewards that sort of play. And because it's hybridized with a tower defense game, and that your characters will automatically initiate. They don't need to be told to attack people. There is an element of set it and forget it while you work on other stuff, which I think is good. So you don't have to pause if you don't want to, and they'll handle stuff as long as you've been stocking up. But you can also pause and, see, oh, we've got somebody coming from over here. Let me pause. Let me send these guys over here. And then I'm going to unpause, let them handle them while I build some other stuff. It's good. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's just a good combination of stuff, and it has things like, obviously you have upgrades, mid-mission upgrades and such. You have lots of building your actual city and settlement in order to resupply, keep your resources flowing, and maintain all that. It strikes a really good balance between a lot of like the survival RTS, again, they are billions and what have you, and other such games. It's good. And I mean, as much as it is like a lot of, real time with pause, it is technically an RTS, and we don't see enough good RTSs these days. So I am super pleased. Well, there is another one coming out today, in fact. So I have to check that out afterwards.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Stormgate enters its free-to-play early access thing like on the 13th, which is today for me, but I imagine it's tomorrow. And that's made by a bunch of, ex-StarCraft devs who were sad they couldn't make more StarCraft, so they went elsewhere and made more StarCraft. And I hope it's good, because I want more StarCraft.
I mean, yeah, no argument here.
But yeah, that was Cataclismo.
Cataclismo. It's good stuff.
The emphasis is important because they have that accent pretty much all the way through. Very Italian.
We have to do something about the Cataclismo. It's true. You do have to do something about the Cataclismo. But yeah.
Yeah, the Cataclismo has done some shit.
Yeah.
There are weird horrors friggin' everywhere. The mist is creeping in.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Freaky deaky. I like the intro where they're, explaining what all happened. But it's quite good.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick one.
Yep.
So I was very, very pleased to meet representatives from my favorite fighting game developer and publisher at EVO, Arc System Works. And they have been doing a little something with French bread called Undernight in Birth 2 Celes, which I did cover for this podcast. But
you did, I recall.
They've got some DLC characters coming out, and I got to play with one of the new ones, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that. The Uzuki DLC is out, and you can play her right now with the 1.10 update. And it also comes with, if you have like the DLC, actually, hold on, let me see. The DLC pass. Should have looked into this earlier to see what it had.
That is quite the hat she's wearing.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. So yeah, so I don't. 3 additional playable characters. Okay. And there's new story content that's coming in the season pass as well, and it unlocks Kuon as well, which is the character that I played before. I mean, it's the character that I play in this game. I played Carmine at first, and then I switched to Kuon after I unlocked him because he looked really cool. So I was like, okay, how do I get this character? And then you have to like beat the story mode with like 8 characters or something like that. It's something ridiculous. But
one of those unlockable boss characters of sorts.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally a boss. Yeah. He's hard, but he's got teleports and stuff like that, and he kind of reminds me of New 13 from Blaze Blue. So I was like, let me check this dude out. He's very cool. But I played with Uzuki recently, and she's super fun. She's real. She's real creepy. She's a necromancer. She's a little girl. She's floating on an invisible monster. And she's got this big old top hat, very Testament vibes from Guilty Gear. And another thing that's very Testament vibes from Guilty Gear is that a lot of her stuff is, because she's a necromancer, is like death and coffin themed. So she has, she's got a lot of cool stuff. She's kind of got like a, I don't know why I'm making, I know why I'm making so many Guilty Gear comparisons. It's because it's another Arc Sys game.
It's your frame of reference.
Yeah. But like, there's almost some like Totsugeki stuff with like a dead skeleton where she hops on top of that, and then that goes forward and like attacks your enemies. She also can summon up these giant coffins that come up out of the ground, either laying flat or like standing up tall. And then you can do a different button input afterwards. And based on what you do, she'll either go invincible and like hop onto the top of the coffin and sit there while you do stuff. Or the top of the coffin lid will open up and like some skeleton bats will fly out. Or a giant skeleton tail will just fling out and like swing all over the screen. And then her super summons like this giant, like kind of demon skeleton that traps you into this giant orb and then just blows you up. She's super, super fun. She can also like melt into the ground and then like move around, hop around, and all sorts of stuff like that. Really bizarre character. Super fun and interesting. I'm having a lot of fun with her. She also has like she summons like she's kind of like she's a necromancer in the way that like a stage magician would be a necromancer, where like
Right.
she'll take her hat off and then like two giant skeleton arms will come out and like punch you from across the room. It's just real silly and fun. In a way that like I feel
She
like
kind of gave me vibes of Peacock from Skullgirls, just at a glance.
yeah, kind of. Yeah. I definitely get that as well. Yeah, she's super fun, super goofy. Yeah, it's oh yeah, in the thing it says the egomaniacal necromancer who fights along her spooky pals rampage hilariously. And that is rampage hilariously is a great way to describe her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's real fun. She's real fun, real silly. I don't know, I don't know how powerful she is. I just know that when I'm on screen, I'm just making a bunch of stupid nonsense happen, and it's fun. So, which
Screen
is really,
pollution, go.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, so if you get the DLC, you'll be able to unlock Kuon without having to play all those story mode things. They just give them to you, and then 3 characters, and the season pass is $10. So, I think that's totally worth it.
Yeah.
That is very,
That's a
very
pretty good
reasonable.
price for it.
Yeah, 3 characters, extra story content, and an automatic unlock of the boss character without having to do a bunch of extra stuff. Like, why not? You pay a lot more for other games season pass. I think this is like totally reasonable. I'll let you know what I think of the other characters when they come out.
Sounds good.
Uni is really fun. It's really crazy.
It definitely looks utterly insane every time I glance in on it.
It's
just
wild.
It's one of those fighting games that just has like its solid core off in the corner, and every time you kind of look over, you go, "You guys doing all right?" Oh, that's some bullshit. Yeah, you guys are fine.
Yeah,
you guys
absolutely.
are fine. Carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Uni crowd is just degenerates of the highest order, and you know what? I'm here for it.
I respect it.
So, anyways, yeah, check that out. If you're into fighting games, I mean, that's another great one. So,
If you're not into fighting games, you should really play more fighting games anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
same applies to me too.
Yeah, there's a lot of great fighting games out right now, particularly right now. Like I actually wrote a piece.
Fighting game players are eating good right now.
Yeah, my preview of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics for GameSpot talks about how I think we are in a new fighting game golden age.
Now that we've stopped bickering over the stupid rollback netcode stuff, it's like,
yeah,
yes, this is just clearly an improvement. Put it in, please and thank you.
Yeah,
and they did, and everything was better.
Yes.
What a shock! It only took 10 years.
Tekken is great. Street Fighter is great. Dragon Ball has rollback. Guilty Gear Strive is great. Grand Blue has rollback. Uni has rollback. There are so many great fighting games out, and there is something for you if you look for it. It's great. It's great. I mean, I really, with Marvel coming back, and then Marvel Infinite is getting like that mod that improves the visuals and adds a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's never been a better time. I'm not into like NetherRealm stuff, but I mean, so I don't know how that community feels, but stuff is good.
Yeah, they seem to be doing all right. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we've got Fightcade if you want to play Third Strike. You know what I mean? Like there is stuff to do there if you like fighting games. And why wouldn't you?
New and old, veteran or rookie, doesn't matter. There's something, and it's a good time.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I got to say.
Now we just need a new Soul Calibur. Give me a new Soul Calibur, damn it.
We do need a new Soul Calibur. We also need you guys to bring back Star Wars Masters of Terrascasi. That's what I need you to do.
Oh man, that's a deep cut.
That's what I need you to do. I need to walk forward and do an overhead chop as Darth Vader. That's what I need. I need to play out my fan fictions of Luke versus Mara Jade. That's what I need.
So
I
you're
don't need
saying
that.
you want to play Soul Calibur 4?
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Although really, my Soul Calibur was I think it was Soul Calibur 2 with Link on the GameCube.
Yeah, that was 2.
Yeah,
That was my introduction to it as well, because I didn't have a Dreamcast at the time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Soul
I never
Calibur
had
2,
one.
mint.
Yeah,
Soul
good
Calibur 3,
stuff.
also good. Lots of shenanigans to be had with that one.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out if I don't vibe with MVC2 just because everything is so fast. Like, should I try to get into 3 or Infinite? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I mean, MVC3 can get pretty bullshit as well, just not that bullshit.
I mean, it's not that I do not have a problem with bullshit. I just stuff is like too fast. I'm like slow down.
You just yeah, you find it difficult
There's
and
too is
less
I
engaging to try.
have ADHD. I need you to just slow down just a little
Yeah.
so I can actually pay attention to this. But yeah.
I don't have object permanence. Where are you?
Wait, where did you go? I thought we were fighting. I'm lost in the grocery store.
Get out of the soup aisle. All right. What else is on the docket? I suppose I can say that I managed to finally properly wrap up Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. So I spoke about it when I did the playthrough of the main game, the original version of it, with the updates and everything. And then Vengeance is the entirely different path that they just added for that, and it goes places. And yeah, I have spoken a bit about it. You know, Lucas and I did our SMT5 Power Hour at one point, but I finally got through the Vengeance playthrough and had a really good time with it. I think if you haven't played that game and you are at all interested or like SMT in any way, shape, or form, grab it. Just do it. It's very good. There is a lot of value to be had in that game. And yeah, I think the actual Vengeance playthrough is, I don't know if I'd say it's outright better than the base one, because it has pros and cons, I guess. It's hard to say exactly where I land on it. I think overall it is probably better, but there are parts where it just kind of gets lackluster. Mostly the parts where it's like it sets up a lot of new things, and then those new areas and such are really cool, and then it'll just go cool. And now we're back to the old stuff until we hit like the very end game, and without that much change, I'm like, oh well, that's kind of disappointing. I would like to know more about what's going on here. And then only at the very end does that actually get resolved, and it's like, okay, that was fine. But yeah, so that was fun. I did that. What else have I been doing? More FF14. That is an ongoing process, as you can imagine, although I'll probably be letting my subscription for that lapse. Not because I'm not having fun, but it's because, the WoW expansion is coming out in like 2 weeks. Fuck, it's coming out in 2 weeks. Ryan, why is everything coming out in August?
It's coming out pretty soon. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I didn't make these decisions.
One of those months.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's not like last year where August, what came out in August? Baldur's Gate 3 came out in August. What else came out in August? No one cares. Everyone's playing Baldur's Gate 3. It's here, it's like everything is coming out and, big and small and average or actually good or potentially bad. Who cares? I want to play them all.
Yeah. And I mean, after Dragonflight being so good, I imagine.
Oh, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Like straight up, this is the first time I feel like both WoW and FF14 are in a good place and directly competing, because each of them at every point in time, one or the other has been lackluster in some way for pretty much the entire time. It's rare that I found both current expansions both really good at the same time. That hasn't happened in like ever. So it's neat.
Yeah.
I'd rather that be that than, more Shadowlands or Endwalker. Fuck that. So yeah, I will definitely be picking up The War Within when it drops in a couple of weeks, and stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have conversations about that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I might
Are you
actually
intending to?
I
Yeah.
might actually I've been thinking about pitching coverage for that as an excuse to like get back into it.
Well,
So
you heard my, I gave you my spiel for, I want to do a proper deep dive review of retrospective of the expansion that just was.
yeah.
So,
And that
take
was
that,
Dragonflight,
pitch
right?
it.
Which I've done
That was
some of it.
Dragonflight, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've done some of that. I think I got to the end of like the Dragonflight introduction if you play as like the dragon characters.
The Drakfir, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then or if I didn't get to the end, I got close to the end. Maybe they you know what? Maybe they did send me out to like the whatever races. I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I played that game. I am looking for excuses to play Final Fantasy or WoW with people. Just
Well,
because, you know.
hit me up. I know where to go for both of them. So
Yeah. 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 I'll check it out. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm kind of feeling a little bit of that itch. Maybe coming back. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
well, it'll be good. And again, like this is probably the time for it. Either fresh into an expansion or fresh out of an expansion just hitting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
although FF14 is a different beast, just because you got to go through it all because it is linear progressive story and it's all important. So
Yeah. Which that's kind of the one that I'm more interested in just because of that and because like people as much as I love WoW and it's never not going to be my favorite MMO. Like that's just how it is.
yeah, they're different.
That's not a slight
They
against
cater to
anything
different
else.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, but like nobody has ever accused WoW of having like an incredible story. You know what I mean? Like whereas that is something that people have levied not against FF14, but like, I guess levied in its favor or whatever. Oh, I
mean,
okay.
I have.
Yeah,
I've said both extremes of it, but
Yeah. Yeah. Shadowbringers and all that sort of stuff, but
Shadowbringers is fucking incredible. Endwalker sucks dick.
yeah. So, but yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. So definitely keep me appraised of that. That should be a fun time.
Yep.
Should be a fun time.
Need to get back in and play the there's a pre-patch event at the moment, which is apparently a good way to level up characters in advance of the War Within. So
Nice.
that said, I have nearly every character class at 70. So like, what do I care?
Is that the new cap after they squished the levels?
Yeah, the current cap is 70. War Within will raise it to 80,
Okay.
and they'll be
You're
almost
raising it to
certainly
80
doing
again, like this is like it's
yeah.
like it's Wrath of the
like
Lich
I
King.
haven't been 120 before. Yeah,
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, let me see.
But yeah, and they will absolutely be doing an item squish after the War Within because they'd be crazy not to. Because yeah, the item level inflation in that game is utterly unbelievable.
Yeah. And I am a big fan of like small number RPGs. Like I don't understand why people don't like that. I don't know.
I am with you there. I completely agree. I feel like you don't need that many, but the systems they have built up mean that no one is happy with a single item level increase. It has to be minimum 3 and then probably significantly more, which means the entire, you get like a 50 item level bracket in just one raid tier, 3 in expansion
That's
to the moon.
yeah, that's
You're getting item level 300 stuff just by progressing to the end of the Dragonflight like campaign. By the end of the raid, you're in like approaching 500s. It didn't need to be that large.
yeah, that's
It really didn't.
ridiculous. Yeah. Incremental improvement is fine. Like that's what the original game was like.
Yeah.
It's like if you look at
And you still get that, but now it's like, no, you have to be able to see it. You have to be able to feel it. And
yeah, and it's
whatever.
like, well, okay, whatever, I guess. That's not what MMOs are. Like, that's like a RPG. If you pick up a new weapon in an RPG, it's like, okay, this is better. But even then, they don't even do that. Like, a lot of times you'll get a new weapon in like an RPG and it'll be like, it's better. It's better, but like, it's not, I'm not like one-shotting people all of a sudden,
Yeah, and then you have like Guild Wars 2, which is like the level cap has never increased.
Yeah.
The gear level has never increased. Everything you do is sideways progression. and it still manages to do a really good job of it, apparently. So, yeah,
That is very impressive.
for sure. I could never get into Guild Wars 2 despite my many attempts.
Yeah.
I respect it, but I just couldn't vibe with it.
Yeah. I played the first one for a while.
The first one was a very different game, but
I was a broke college student and I didn't have the money for
a subscription.
A WoW subscription after I didn't have the or actually no, I did have a free WoW subscription because my buddy helped make WoW. So
that would do it.
They get if you're a Blizzard employee and you're working on WoW, you have several free accounts that you can give out, and I got one of them.
That's neat.
So, and then he lost his job, and then I lost my free account, which sucked.
Oh dear.
I didn't lose my account; like it's still the same account that I've always had. It's
but
just
you didn't have
my
the
subscription wasn't being paid for anymore. Yeah,
fair.
Which sucks, but I feel like I should have been grandfathered in. Come on, guys. But yeah. All right, and I just have one more thing to talk about before I'm all good.
Sounds good.
Did you have anything else?
Nothing really in depth I can talk about. No.
Okay.
I mean, there's always stuff I can blab about, but yeah, most of the time
For sure. And I'm not going to get too into this because I do want to have Will on for this since this is something that he is also playing.
Sure.
And that is Magical Delicacy.
Right.
So
I believe you guys mentioned getting a key or something for this.
Yes. Yeah. So so he reached out. This is on Game Pass as well. So you can jump into this if you have that. I do not have Game Pass anymore. So I'm playing this on my Steam Deck. Basically, if I give you the elevator pitch, it is... Wait, hold on. Let me make a little timestamp real quick.
Mm-hmm. I've not heard anything about the game, so hit me with the elevator pitch.
Yeah, so the elevator pitch of Magical Delicacy is it is Kiki's delivery service, but instead of like flying around delivering things, you are a witch that is on the ground and has traveled to this other city that is renowned for having a lot of witches there, to try to learn your trade, and you open up a restaurant. And so people will say, oh, I want this to eat. And because you're a witch, you can actually make food that is like enchanted. And so just by the nature of being a witch, you will get more out of your ingredients than other people would. And so you can use all kinds of things. So you've got a little backyard where you can grow some specific types of things. There are various stores around town where you can buy like, oh, I'm going to go buy an oven, or I'm going to go buy some recipes for new, dishes or things. Oh, I've met, you walk around, you start talking to people, and it'll be like, oh, hey, we're about to go on an expedition down the river. Can you make us some rations? And it'll be like, it's kind of like Overcooked, except there's no time limit.
Right.
Where it's just like, okay, I want this, or like you'll meet, like one of the first things you do is you meet a princess, and she's like, okay, I want a dessert, and I want it to be sweet, but I don't want it to have this ingredient in it. And that ingredient is what a lot of desserts are made from. So you have to kind of dig around and find something unusual. And then you can take it to her, and, there's some like timing things. You can get like a mortar and pestle, so you can mix up some things. There's some timing on your cooking to make sure like you don't burn it, and other things like that. And otherwise, it is just a very simple kind of Metroid style, like light platforming thing where you're going around and you can go into, you'll go into like a dark part of the map, and it's like, oh, well, I don't have a lantern yet, so like I can't go in here. And then there's some other places where, there's some spiky plants, and so they'll teleport you to the beginning of the platforming section. So you'll have to try to like get around them. But if you do, you can find like some specific types of mushrooms that are growing in these caves or something like that. And you can loop all of that back into your cooking. And yeah, you're exploring, you're finding new ways to get to different parts of the city, and then you can like unlock shortcuts back, and then you can, you know, go to various places and do all kinds of things. I'm about 3 hours into it right now, but it's real cute. It's really fun. It is relaxing. I'm having like some mild frustration with it, where it's just like, you know, like with the thing I was telling you about, where it's like, okay, I want to do this dish, but I don't have a recipe that satisfies all of this yet.
Yeah.
So I just need to go around and do more stuff.
Try out more ingredients and things.
Yeah. And you don't have to have recipes for things to cook. Like you can cook, and, you know, if you add like certain types of ingredients, whether you're making soup and you take some water from the faucet and you pop it in the pot, and then it's like, okay, add 2 ingredients, and you can add like any ingredients, and it'll just be like, this will make unknown, and then you'll discover something. So you can play around with stuff like that. But, you know, if certain things are, you know, limited or exotic or rare ingredients, like you don't have a ton of them. So I've been trying to play it kind of conservatively, at least so far. And like, I've tried to plant stuff in my backyard to get that going. And then, you know, you'll need to water it if it doesn't rain. And so there is a bit of like, build up your stocks, start cooking and making some different things. And then, you know, go around and pass those around. You can pin recipes, which is very helpful. Like on the side, you can pin requests and things. But yeah, it's, I'm still early. Obviously I want to get into it more with Will because he's played a lot more of it, and I'm going to play more, but yeah, I like it.
It does sound very charming, honestly.
Yeah, it's good.
Actually, did you ever play Battle Chef Brigade?
Yes, actually I have that on my Steam Deck right now because I never finished it.
I fucking loved Battle Chef Brigade, so that's it's hitting me in that kind of feel. I'm like, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's not action oriented like that. Like there's no combat.
That's fine, yeah.
It's just gathering.
Battle Chef Brigade was basically like, you know, Iron Chef the video game kind of
thing.
But
Yeah. So Battle Chef Brigade is definitely way more this is kind of like the cozy version of that.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it's not puzzle based. So like you're not doing like match 3 or anything with your cooking. It's strictly like you're just cooking the stuff.
Yeah.
You know. You'll pop it in and make sure that you're, you know, pulling it out when it's done but not burnt, and then, you know, whatever. It's more of a it's more resource management and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is very light and breezy. I like it. It's good.
It sounds charming. I'll have to give it a look.
It's good. I like it.
I dig it. I'm definitely keen to hear more from you and Will.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be playing more. As time goes on, I'll be playing more of that, more of Eastward, you know, some other stuff like that. It's a good time. It's a good time to be a gamer, whether you're a fighting gamer or a cozy gamer or whatever. There's all kinds of great stuff out there to play.
Especially this month when it all comes out at once.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. And meanwhile, I'm about to start like my second full playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 and like 4th or 5th like character. So we're gonna
keep me apprised of that one. Are you gonna hit up the dark urge yet? Or
I am. I was doing it before, and I put some mods on the game, and unfortunately there was like some sort of an update or something. I can't get access to my save games anymore.
Right.
Which is really frustrating. I really want to get access. Like, I can't access my game where I beat the game. I can't access the game where I was, like, in Act 2 or whatever. It's really, really frustrating. The only things I have access to are things that are very early in Act 1. And that's just really frustrating. But I'm going to be doing... and particularly because I'm going to be doing guides on this game again. And so, like, I need to have access to that stuff, and I was like very far along in my Dark Urge playthrough. Like I had done like everything in Act 1, and I was just like getting ready to go to Act 2, and now it's like, okay, now I have to start all over again. And that's just like, man, that's just like really frustrating. I can't find a way around
I found it's a lot. I found it's a lot quicker to get, like, once you know what you're doing, it's a lot quicker to just kind of breeze through acts 1 and 2. I found.
Yeah. Which is fine, but it's just like I already did all of that, so it's like now I got to recreate all of these things. It's just I don't know. It's frustrating. But anyways,
that sucks.
All that to say, thank you for joining us for episode 321. It's been a lot of episodes of this show.
321 of them, in fact.
Yeah, it's crazy. Believe it or not, you should believe it because it's true. But if you don't believe it, I mean, I guess I can't stop you. So
and if that's too many for you, you can just drop it down to the last 50 episodes or so, because that's when I joined.
That's true. That's when it, that's when it really got good. It was,
exactly.
Yeah, it was never
everything up to that was just warm up and fill up.
Yeah,
you're getting ready.
That's the filler arc. That's the filler arc. Now this is the tournament arc. Here we go. If you guys got feedback or topics or stuff you want us to discuss, hit us up. You can find me on Twitter at Ribnax, Ribnax. And you can find me at Blue Sky and Backlogged at Brian Barnett, Brian with an I. And you can find me at twitch.tv/Ribnax and youtube.com/@Ribnax, where I archive all the shows, and you can watch us live on Monday evenings, 7 p.m. Central Time. If you want to see some of the stuff that I'm doing, as I said earlier, you can check out my Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection preview at GameSpot. And I've got some stuff that's going to be going up on Kotaku in the near future.
Neat.
And other than that, things are a bit slow for me at the moment. So, you can just find me here, I guess. But, Chris,
we do
where
tend
can
to be
people find
here.
you?
Well, in addition to finding me here on the show, you can find me on most video games and socials when I look at them at Delfeir, Delfeir, not to be confused with Elfears, like Ryan did before the show. You can check my website out with a lot of my writing at versusthebacklog.com. That's vsthebacklog.com, one word. Also, be sure to check out acclaimedgames.com, which is a project which I have assisted, run by a friend of mine, which is a big, effectively looking at and collating a ton of best of games lists and effectively creating critical consensus. And it's a really interesting project. You should check it out. And that's about it.
Nice. Well, it's time for us to get out of here and go and play some more games.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Indeed. Well, if you like the show, please leave us a review. We only grow based on word of mouth. We don't advertise or anything like that. Tell somebody about the show. From everybody here at the Platformers, we hope you have a wonderful week and stay safe out there, because until next time, we are out.
Goodbye.